You know, in the compact world, there are no shortages of vehicle choices out there. So what's a buyer to do if you don't want, say, that Civic, Corolla, Mazda 3, Jetta, Cruze, I could literally go on, that your neighbor or your friend bought? Well, this is where underdog vehicles like the Kia Forte come in. Introduced back in 2009 as a replacement for the Spectra, and now in its second generation, this week I'm testing the fully refreshed 2017 version. Is it any good in this crowded segment? Let's take a look and find out. Now, it's no secret that Hyundai and Kia have been steadily improving their vehicles over the years. In fact, the current crop of products from either company are among the most competitive, value-driven, and stylish vehicles you'll ever find in the segment. Now, when Kia set out to replace the Spectra back in 2009, they wanted a name that would be synonymous with something that's premium, that's sporty, that's stylish, and the original Forte was certainly that vehicle for the company. Now, if you guys look at the platform of the Forte, it shares a lot with its platform mate, the Hyundai Elantra. Now, the Elantra being redesigned for the 2017 model year means a refresh for the Forte, which does continue to soldier on the previous generation Elantra's platform, which was introduced back in 2011. Now, since this generation came out in 2013, it's been a pretty good seller for Kia. A lot of people associate the brand with a lot of stylish and premium offerings, and the Forte is certainly no exception. You can see the design of this refreshed model certainly takes a lot of design influences from the more recent crop of Kias. The front end reminds me a lot of the current generation Sedona. It incorporates the signature design themes, the tiger nose grille, the swept back headlights with the LED accents. Now, most models will come standard with those LED accents. However, curiously, LED headlights are not available on the Forte like some of its competitors. If you guys want a bi-xenon option with a swiveling function, you have to go for an EX with a premium package that makes the vehicle rather pricey. Now, this particular one that I'm showing you is a new trim for 2017. This is known as the Forte S, which is supposed to be kind of like a sportier offering, which is curious to me because the 16-inch wheels that come on this car are a little bit small, and they also look a little familiar. I've seen these wheels before on some other Kia products, so it seems the company has recycled them. The EX has the 17-inch polished 5-spoke wheels, which do look much better. I think Kia should have put those wheels on the S model, especially since this is the sporty offering. Now, in terms of the size of this car, you know, it's smack right in the middle of all its competitors, Honda Civic, Corolla. The vehicle weighs roughly around 2,900 pounds, and out back, you're going to notice refreshed taillights. LEDs are available on the higher trims. The S models and up will come with a chrome-tipped single exhaust outlet, as well as an S badge that looks like it was taken right off of a Corolla S. Now, overall, I think the design of the Forte has certainly aged well. I think it's still one of the most stylish offerings, but at the same time, there's something about it for me that doesn't really stand out, especially when you have such excellent players like the new Civic, the Mazda 3, the Golf, the new Cruze. But let's take a look at the interior and see some of the changes that Kia has made for 2017. Now, first approaching the Forte, my tester has an optional technology package that rolls in the company's smart key access system. Here's the current key fob. It's a decent key, a little bit large for me, but just keep it on in your pocket, in your purse, and all you have to do to unlock the door, or to lock it, you push this button here. That locks the door, and the mirrors are also power folding. It's part of that technology package. Cool feature in this segment. To unlock it, there's no touchpad on the back. You have to push the button again, and that unlocks the door for you, and the mirrors will automatically fold. You can change that setting right here if you have it in the auto setting, or you can turn it off if you don't want the mirrors to do that. Now, looking at the interior of this latest Forte S, you can see Kia did update it slightly for 2017. There's a new steering wheel. There's a lot of shiny bits in here, a little too much shiny bits if you ask me. You can see the steering wheel has some piano black plastic. There's some chrome trim. There's some faux carbon fiber, which actually does look pretty cool. I mean, the entire ambience of this car certainly tries to make it look very German, very very sporty, very Audi-esque. The seats, these are the cloth seats that come standard on the S model. If you want leather, you have to go to the EX trim. They do have some silver contrasting stitching. They are slightly wider. They're relatively comfortable. The cloth material for me is a little on the cheapo rental car-ish side, but the seat themselves, I like the insert with the silver. It's a very interesting and kind of upscale looking cabin that tries to make it look a little more special than it actually may be. Now, stepping inside the cabin of the Forte, it's easy to get in and out of. This is a compact sedan, so it's very, very easy to live with. Now, shutting the door, the door itself, I've heard more solid sounding doors. You can tell that this platform is getting a little bit old. But you can see here, a push button start is standard, or is included on my tester because of that tech package. So all you have to do is put your foot on the brake, keep the key inside the vehicle, and then push the button to fire it up. Now what you're hearing is a new engine for 2017. This is the same 2-liter multi-port injection, that 4-cylinder that runs on the Atkinson cycle as the new Elantra. It replaces last year's 1.8-liter engine, so it's a little bit bigger. Curiously, it produces 1 less horsepower, but we'll go into that later on. Now, the window is automatic one touch for both front. That's included on the tech package that my tester has. The other lower trims will just have one touch for the driver's side, I believe. Now, looking at the rest of this interior, you can see I really think the design is certainly different. I really like these ridges that you see here on the dash. The carbon fiber weave trim is also nice. It's different versus, you know, the silver painted plastic that you find in most of its competitors. Now, the door panel materials, they are actually soft touch right here on the upper door panels with a very nice graining material, so that's better than the current generation Hyundai Elantra. It's also nice and soft padded with leather stitching right here on the armrest, in addition to giving you some nice storage there. You do have a chrome door handle here, and then looking at the dash materials, you can see it is soft touch plastic here, the same material that's on the door. Everything else here though is hard plastic except for, you know, the instrument panel hood here, which is nicely stitched with contrasting stitching. It definitely gives this interior a much more upscale appearance. The new steering wheel also looks nice. The piano black here will probably drive me insane because it shows fingerprints and smudges very easily, but you can see there's lots of buttons on here, your audio controls here, your Bluetooth controls, your cruise control, and then your buttons here to control the infotainment, or the helper screen that's in the instrument cluster display. Speaking of which, I like the Kia's instrumentation display. Clean, simple, easy to read, they look good. Down here you have a few more buttons here. This is for your lane keeping and lane departure warning, your blind spot monitoring with your cross traffic alert, and then your various other controls there for your turn signals, your headlights, and so forth. Now, looking at the center stack here, let's talk about the overall design. First of all, I'm noticing there's 2 different places where Kia shows you the time. This display here just looks really cheap and dated. You can tell that this is a new head unit here since it's showing the clock. The graphics on the new head unit look good. It also comes standard with Kia's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility. There's no nav on this particular model. If you want nav, that's part of a premium package, but most of you are going to use the nav system that's on your phone anyways. To access it, you just have to plug your phone into the USB port here, and that'll graph Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, depending on which kind of phone you have. Putting the vehicle into reverse, you do have a backup camera that is standard on most models. Really, if you get the cheapy LX without the popular equipment package, that one will not have a backup camera. It doesn't have trajectory, but it does have distance markers. No parking sensors. The camera itself is decent. Nothing super special. Going back to the touch response here, let's go to your music settings here. The touch response is good. This is one of the quicker responding systems in the business. I think the screen at 7 inches is also a very good size. Nice, well labeled, easy to use. I like the fact that there's a tuning knob, a volume knob, nice big labeled buttons. My tester doesn't have automatic climate control, dual zone or whatnot. It's just a single zone manual. You gotta go to the upper trims. A lot of the other competitors are giving that to you as standard. There's a nice little bin here with storage and a lid that's pretty sturdy to hide your phone and whatnot. The center stack here, the gear shifter looks like it's been taken from older Audi products. There's a drive mode selector button here that'll cycle between eco, sport, and normal mode, kind of like the Elantra. Nothing super special. The armrest here doesn't slide. It's basically padded in the same material that's on the doors. There's a premium package that will give you a sliding armrest with probably leather stitching. The well in here is pretty big, so there's good storage down there in addition to the 2 cup holders. My tester doesn't have a sunroof. You have to get that premium package if you want the sunroof. And then the glove compartment, it's damped, not lined with felt. It's a good size. Overall, I think the interior of this car is certainly stylish in its own way. I think there's too much shiny black plastic on this particular trim. I think I actually may prefer the newer interior of the Platform 8, the Elantra, as opposed to this Forte. Now, just like the Elantra, the Forte has a pretty generous size rear seat. Definitely more room than what you're going to get in the current Focus or the Mazda 3. This is about on par with the Civic, with the Jetta. The Corolla, I believe, gives you a little bit more space. But stepping back here, you can see the floor is nice and low. You also have a nice flat floor here for the middle, so you can fit 3 people across. Now, shutting the door, it sounds pretty much the same as the front. The materials back here, however, are hard touch plastic, not the same soft touch as in the front, but it is nice and padded here where your elbows are going to rest. Looking at a little bit more storage here, you can see there's only one map pocket here. It's not on the driver's side, and then there's no vents back here. Wasn't really expecting that. There is no center armrest here. I'm a little disappointed to see that Kia didn't give you that on this lower trim model, but the seats do fold down 60/40 to give you some versatility. Now, because my Tester has that smart key access system, it does have Kia's smart trunk system like all other Hyundai Kia products. Stand back here with the remote, the trunk will open up in 3 seconds when it senses you are nearby. Now, you can see the trunk is huge on this vehicle. It's about 15 cubic feet, about 14.9, a little bit bigger than the new Elantra because this is the old platform. You can see the seats, they also fold down. The opening is quite large. And then underneath here, you actually don't have a spare tire, just a fix-a-flat kit. So I'm a little surprised that Kia cheaped out and didn't give you that feature. So underneath the hood of the 2017 Forte, you're actually looking at a new engine that replaces last year's smaller 1.8 liter new NU 4-cylinder. This is a bigger 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It does have just multi-port injection, so this does not have direct injection like some of its competitors. You can hear it's a very quiet sounding engine at idle. There's not that diesel-like clatter or ticking noise that you typically hear. Now, the numbers this year actually went down compared to the old 1.8. This is now rated at 147 horsepower compared to 148 in the old engine. Torque is now 132 pound-feet, which is one more versus the old 1.8. Interesting, but this engine is capable of running on the more efficient Atkinson cycle, which is why Kia replaced this motor. It's the same motor that's in the redesigned Elantra. This just gets much better gas mileage. It's rated at 29 in the city, 38 on the highway. With the 6-speed automatic, if you guys go for the 6-speed manual on the base model, you're going to get shafted 4 mpg, which is pretty significant for a small car with not that much power. Now, if you guys go for the Forte EX, you get a different 4-cylinder. It's a 2-liter with direct injection. Makes a little bit more power, 164 and 151 pound-feet of torque. Still less versus last year's model, but the fuel economy drops significantly, about 4 mpg total. So it's a pretty significant change if you guys do go for the bigger motor with more power. Now, there is also a turbocharged 1.6. That's a different review though, because it is only available on the Forte 5, which is the 5-door hatch, or the coupe, which haven't been refreshed yet for the 2017 model year. Expect Kia to show us that later on. Now, this vehicle weighs roughly about 2,900 pounds. It is front-wheel drive. Let's get it out on the road and see how it all works, shall we? So first, setting off in the refreshed Forte, I have to look back and think, I really do feel bad for Kia. I mean, they do sell a pretty good amount of these cars, but to be honest, the Forte is one of the vehicles in this class that I often forget about. This basically and the Sentra. I forget about these two all the time because there's just so many other better choices typically on the market. Even the platform like Elantra definitely has more name recognition versus this car, and that's because, you know, Kia just introduced it. However, the Forte definitely has a lot of the Kia traditional strengths. I mean, it is one of the only compact cars. I think it's actually the only compact car that offers cooled seats if you guys go for the EX model. But with this all new engine, let's get out on the road and see how it actually drives. So I'll be honest, when I first read the specs of this car, I thought, okay, it's got a 2-liter 4-cylinder. Oh, it's the S trim. It's got a sport tune suspension, as Kia likes to point out. You know, The Forte drives fine. It's definitely a pleasant driving compact car, but that's just because compact cars today have literally become yesterday's mid-size cars. And the four-cylinder in this car definitely feels better than the old 1.8 that was in the previous generation Elantra, but it also has a couple of agricultural unpleasant noises that I typically don't like with a small displacement four-cylinder. Now, if you guys remember my review of the Elantra Eco with the new 1.4 turbo and 7-speed dual clutch, Kia and Hyundai have fixed the refinement. I kind of hope to find that motor show up in this car in the coming years, especially when Kia redesigns it. Now, the ride quality of the Forte is also surprisingly good. It's been a while since I drove one, but I do remember it being slightly on the harsher side. This actually feels really good. It's very firm, yet compliant. The steering is electric power steering assist. It's got the typical Hyundai Kia numbness, but the precision's there. It's a relatively quick responding steering. The 6-speed auto, surprisingly, shifts really well, smooth, goes about its business without much fuss. Doesn't shift the quickest, but hey, it's a conventional automatic. Now, with your foot to the floor, probably just like the Elantra, this car will do 0 to 60 in around 9 seconds, which is roughly about a second to a second and a half slower than a lot of its turbocharged competitors. Really, you guys need to go for the Forte 5 with its 1.6 turbo, which is available with a dual clutch or a manual if you guys want the most performance-focused Forte. This is really just a commuter car that is very pleasant to drive, and one thing about the Forte is the visibility in here is excellent. Very large windshield, huge side mirrors. My tester has the blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, and it also has a lot of driver assistance tech that was really just unheard of in a compact car just a few years ago. My tester with the premium or the technology package rolls in automatic emergency braking, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, active lane keeping assist. I mean, these are features that you typically had to pay a lot of money for luxury cars, and they're now rolling into compact cars. You saw it in my review of the Corolla. That does come standard with all of those features, plus adaptive cruise control, which is not available on the Forte. It is available on the Elantra, but not available on this current Forte at any price. Speaking of which, if you also want the Forte Coupe or 5-door, it doesn't offer any driver assistance tech like the 4-door does, which is refreshed for 2017. Another thing I also really appreciate about the Forte is just how easy it is to drive. The seats are comfortable, you can see really well out of this, and the cabin feels really open and airy. I mean, this is a really easy car to drive on your daily commute, and it's just very, very, non-fussy about it. You can just kind of put it into its normal setting and just drive the vehicle normally. It's not going to really put a smile on your face, but it does handle competently, but definitely not one of the more sporty offerings in the class. Now, because this vehicle shares a platform with the Elantra, you're probably wondering, how does it feel compared to the Hyundai version? And I have to say that both vehicles feel pretty identical. I'm having a tough time distinguishing between the two, honestly. Perhaps this one is a little bit more on the sportier side. The Elantra can be a little bit, soft. This is supposedly like the Honda Civic, while the Elantra kind of goes more for the Corolla buyers, a little bit softer. But honestly, they both drive fine. It's really going to come down to, do you prefer the styling of the Kia or do you prefer the styling of the Hyundai? Personally, I probably like the styling of the Forte more, although the Elantra has a nicer looking rear end versus this car. It's a toss up for me. It's a push. Oh, there we go. This thing will chirp its tires if you turn the traction control off and floor it and take a turn in it. But let's go around this corner real quick here. Oh goodness, these Nexen tires are shit. They're just, honestly, they should have put a 17-inch wheel on this car. If you're gonna market the S as the sporty offering with a sport tune suspension, which the EX doesn't have, you should have put fatter tires on this car with stickier wheels. I imagine some owners are definitely going to upgrade from these Nexen tires if you decide to purchase this vehicle. But coming to the conclusion of my review for the refreshed Forte, I want to go over the fuel economy really quick, because I had the Elantra Eco last week and I got roughly about 32 miles per gallon in it, in mostly city driving. Now, I hate to report that this car, in the same conditions, I've been averaging about 27, 28 miles per gallon, so it's a pretty significant 4 mile per gallon difference, which you can credit to the fact that, you know, the 1.4 is just more efficient. It's got more mid-range torque, so I don't have to be pushing the throttle as hard. And the 7-speed dual clutch does a really good job of keeping the engine in its power band, although this is much smoother. It doesn't have the slipping from a start like the dual clutch does. Those of you who prefer a more conventional drive are going to prefer this over the Elantra Eco. Now, the pricing of the Forte is also on the low side. Oh, by the way, that stupid beep is from the lane departure warning. It's a little annoying. It reminds me of a cell phone jingle or something. But anyways, pricing of the Forte is also on the low side. A base LX with a 6-speed manual starts at around $16,500, which is definitely a lot cheaper than a lot of its competitors. Now, keep in mind, if you want an automatic Forte, you're gonna have to spend another $1,000. So now you're looking at $17,500. Add that popular equipment package that rolls in cruise control, keyless entry, stuff that you basically expect. This car is around $19,000, or the same price as the Honda Civic LX. My tester is the mid-level S model. It gives you the sporting suspension, 17-inch wheels, the upgraded, you know, interior bits with the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This one starts at around 20,000. Or 19.2 plus an 850 destination, so like around 20,200. My tester has a a technology package for $1,500. That puts it right at around 24,500. If you guys want the premium package that my tester is missing, you're going to be looking at around 24,000, which is still on the lower end of the competitors. But also keep in mind that Elantra Eco that I drove was around 20,000 as well. They're really about the same price. And again, it comes down to which brand you actually prefer. If you want to top out a Forte EX with everything, this car will be right under 27,000, which is again on the lower side of the segment. A lot of the competitors are now approaching $30,000, which is crazy to me. Who would have thought you'd pay almost 30 grand for a freaking compact car? But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview of this 2017 Kia Forte S. If you're in the market for a compact car, don't forget about the Kia. It's definitely worth a look if you guys are very much into the value, the styling, and the driving dynamics. It's still a very pleasant driving car. Just know that some newer competitors do accelerate faster. They have, you know, better looks, more technology in the cabins, because this is now getting in there in the years. But if you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, make sure you follow me on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, keep subscribed to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.